fuck is up, everybody? Welcome back to DFW Metal Mayhem, the most brutal podcast in the Metroplex. If it looks fucking weird, like literally 15 minutes before these guys show up, that fucking picture frame just ate shit on the floor and broke. So it's all pinned up to the wall because you don't get more ghetto than DFW Metal Mayhem. You really don't. But aside from that shit, I'm here with the fucking shredders and motherfucking steel bearing hands.
Sup?
Alright guys, introduce yourselves and what you do in the band, please.
Go ahead. I'm Wyatt. I play the guitar and do the vocals.
I'm Anthony. I play drums.
Guys, I the first time I saw you guys, I was just telling you why, it was at the Sunshine Bar last year when Grodit came through. And man, that was a fucking show. I remember that because I had taken like a month off of shows just kind of to get my shit straight. That's when I got kicked out of Reno's for being way too fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I probably need to like take a break on the drinking thing. And I just like took a total month off, and then I think that night there's like 11 different shows going on across the Metroplex. I'm like, okay, which one is going to be like the obvious hits for everyone to go to, because I don't want to go there. And I'm like, oh well, I think like there's like a couple of big local death metal bands playing in Deep Ellum. I'm like, okay, we're not going there. And I'm like, you know what, I fucking live like 15 minutes away from Sunshine Bar. Definitely do not regret the decision. When it comes to riffs in the scene, I really don't think anyone holds a candle to you guys at all.
Well, thank you. That's quite a compliment.
Well, man, how about you? How about we get into the history, the humble beginnings, day one of Still Bearing Hand. Let's run it back.
Well, that was probably like the summer of 2009, and I used to jam with this dude Steven Friedman, who was in my Stas for a while, and we're like really good friends. And we started a metal band together, and then we met Matt Preston, and that was kind of like the genesis of it. And from there, it's just been, constant evolution towards the, culminating point of today. So, yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time. Been through many different people, but, yeah, here we are.
You're about to go up on tour, too.
Yeah.
Talk about that for a little second.
We're doing like a Midwest, Southern tour. We're going, basically we booked the tour around, Hammerhead Fest in Atlanta, so we're going out there and then going up through the Midwest and back down. So
there you go, just make a good circle. And is this the first time that Still Bearing Hand has done like a tour like this, or?
No, we did actually a pretty similar tour last year of the Midwest, and this will be our 7th tour, 6th or 7th, something like that.
Yeah.
So we've been on a few times.
Yeah, it's crazy because as someone who's like been a regular scene goer for I probably want to say now almost about the past 3 years. Obviously, I wasn't there for like a lot of like crazy golden ages stuff back before, but I do like to think that I kind of have an idea of what I know the scene is, and I like, it was crazy because throughout these like 3 years, I like until I saw you guys last year, I've always just missed y'all. And like a couple of the pitbulls told me, because I'm a prospect in them, they're telling me, dude, how the fuck have we not seen him like at least once? Like Villa fucking was the guy who was like, no, you have to see them. You better make time to go see them.
Cool, yeah.
And man, as I said, I don't regret it. I remember that it was just, as someone who's like a really big fan of thrash metal, and just anything speed in general, I really got like a really powerful sense of like, I would want to say the later years of the new wave of British heavy metal, kind of like that Grim Reaper, like gusto, to like, I would probably want to say like maybe like 1987 or 1998 of like when like the year like a year or two after the golden year of thrash, where like the other four or like the other like bigger bands that weren't the big four were like putting out like solid releases back then. I kind of got like a mix of those two when I heard you guys for the first time. I had like a bunch of influences from those two eras, to say.
Cool.
At least.
Yeah.
Would you say that's accurate, or do you draw influence elsewhere?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate, but it doesn't end there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You just try to draw from every era that we like. I mean, I certainly love new wave of British heavy metal and like late 80s thrash and stuff like that, but also really like, you know, death metal, obviously, like late 80s, early 90s death metal. More so like the Swedish stuff than the Floridian stuff, but also like Autopsy is like my favorite band ever, so I mean there's that. I mean, I love, you know, doom metal like Candlemass, stuff like that, and just anything, you know. We try to take from everything in metal that we like and just put it into one band.
I mean, and honestly, that's how you that's how you honestly create the most honest sound of what you want. I feel like there is like a glaring weakness in some bands where they try to model after like a particular style because that style was either really popular here at one point, or it like garnered like this weird or amassed like cult following throughout whatever time period, and they want to try to like stick to that.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you do that, I feel like there will be eventually a bunch of clones around, and definitely is I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, they can sound good, but I mean, they're playing the same thing as this band, and this band's going to be playing the same thing as that band, essentially. So it's always good to kind of have, like, a distinction between that and everything else. And I mean, as I said, with, like, the style you guys have, I definitely think you're, like, a fucking green thumb in the scene. And, I mean, there's not really, like, a lot of people. I would probably say if there is a band that is kind of close to what you do, it's Incinerator.
Yeah.
But because Chris just writes a crazy shit ton of riffs as well.
Totally.
He's an absolute noodler, and Ben's fucking vocal attack is kind of similar to what's done in Still Bearing Hand. Keep the doctor away. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't eat breakfast, I'm sorry.
Nah, dude, it's all good, man.
Even though it's what, 1:30 in the afternoon, right?
Nah, dude, I've been fasting for like the past like almost 2 months now, and it's killer because I do.
You doing the keto thing?
No, I do want to try it though for the summer. But what I mainly do with my I do intermittent fasting. I only eat from like noon to 8.
Okay.
Like on the weekdays, and I cut out some carbs. I mostly cut out like fats and oils, and like the carbs I do keep are the carbs that I just sweat off later. But besides that, it seems to help. But like the one thing that kind of sucks about it is I do pest control work. So I drive around the Metroplex, so I'm servicing all these places, and sometimes I
gotta eat quick.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Yeah, or I just completely miss out on eating. So like I'll really fuck myself over, and then like I can only eat for like the last 4 hours of my thing. I'm like, well, fuck. So I kind of decided to take off the weekends. Like on the weekends I'll just like mellow out. Still keep everything I cut out, but still just be like, man, fuck the 8-hour thing on the weekends. Like. If I had since I have nothing to do, I was just eat.
Did you cut out drinking?
Or
did you switch from like beer to something else?
Well, thing is that I had a pretty tough drinking problem last year, and that's kind of one of the things that kind of made me end up going to Sunshine that night.
Oh, that's right. You were saying that.
Yeah, because I just didn't want to be around a lot of familiar people. I didn't want to be around people who I knew that were going to be like, oh, dude, hey, it's good to see you back. Here's a shot. Here's a drink. I'm like, oh, man, no. Because, I've been getting that. But I was like, you know what? I will know people here, but, like, I don't think I'll know anyone here super well known to where they're going to be like, oh, dude, hey, Billy, you want to drink, dude? Like, so... But nowadays, I do drink less often. I mainly stick to beer. If I do have liquor, it's at the beginning of when I do drink, and I do like a shot, maybe. And if I'm not at a show, I really don't drink at all. And I smoke, but I only smoke like when my knee has problems, or when like I'm just hurting from a long day of work. So anything I do, I just do to kind of mellow out or to not think about the bullshit day I had. but because I realized what happens if you go overboard, so
Sure.
I don't want to do that shit again.
Yeah.
And you know, people my age will use the excuse of, "Oh, you're young, you can make those mistakes." I'm like, yeah, doesn't mean you want to keep fucking doing it. Because if you haven't learned from the mistakes you made, you're a fucking idiot.
Sure. You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine this morning. We were talking about how our drinking habits had changed. I guess over the past couple of years or whatever. And I heard this from a couple people before, but he had commented how Topo is like a good placeholder for when you're out partying or whatever, but you don't want to drink, just grab a Topo. Or like if you're at the house and you're like, man, I could go for a beer, but I don't really want to drink. Like it's you know,
Carbonated.
It's carbonated. Mm-hmm. It's the same shape as a beer bottle. Like,
Yeah.
Some psychological thing
Yeah.
going on. I'm sure.
Yeah, trick your mind, kind of like
Tastes better than O'Doul's.
Damn straight, dude. Yeah.
some weird like a placebo type deal.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, Topo. And you're hydrating. Staying hydrated is key, man.
It'll satisfy the action habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. I remember when I was going to college. Like initially when I started going to college, I had trouble sleeping because I was working a lot of closing shifts at the sandwich shop I had at the time. I was also an amateur MMA fighter.
Oh, really?
I was doing that to kind of help pay for everything because, you know, the sandwich shop alone wasn't doing it.
Right.
Because I got no financial aid. So I could just punch people. You get paid that way. And I had just massive trouble sleeping. And I took melatonins. It did not fucking work.
Dude.
At all.
Did you try that sleep one?
Not yet. No.
Okay. There's this drink that I've been getting. It's called like what is it called?
Neuro.
Maybe.
I think it's
just
Neuro.
straight. Yeah. They have like they've got a few different flavors, and each one is supposed to do something different. One is like energy. One is supposed to just mellow you out, and they have one that's like a sleep aid or whatever.
I think I saw that.
It's like an orange bottle.
I think so.
They have it at QT. Also at Winco.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I fucking love Winco. It's so tight.
They had,
That's sick.
there's also something similar I saw at a little like a food mart in Duncanville where it was like these bars, like almost like these bars things. They're like all packaged together, and like one said like muscle ache, headache, sleeping aid, pain reliever, and I'm like. Man, shit, dude. I would be mortified to try that.
Dude,
it's all packaged together with like these little bars and everything. I know. I bet those drinks do wonders though.
They're so fucking tight, dude.
The sleep one has melatonin in it, but all of them also have L-theanine in it, which is like a amino acid that like mellows you out. It's kind of like valerian root or something like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember doing valerian root though after melatonin was like I fucking gave up on melatonin. Never ever did it again.
Did it make your dreams weird?
No.
Like stranger than.
No, what it did though is I remember that I would wake up just more harshly, like I would wake up. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no, like I would wake up from like I would like turn really aggressively and just be like hit the pillow and like for some or like when I would hit the bed it would sound a lot louder than usual.
Strange.
Yeah.
Weird. Does it fuck with your dreams?
Melatonin?
No,
melatonin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've only taken it a couple times. Like I have some pills, but I don't know. I have this problem. Like when I get sleepy, I'll be like, "Oh, it's time to go to sleep," and then I'll be like, "No, I'm gonna stay up for another 30 minutes," and then like I'll miss my window, and then I'll get like the second wind, and then I'll be up till like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So I have that problem where like I know I'm tired and I know I should go to sleep, but I just like don't because I'm an asshole. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, but what sucks is like it's always at like 8 p.m. So it's like I'm like I need to do a couple more things. You know? And then it's like if I go to sleep at 8, you know, sometimes I don't know, it's fucked up.
If I fall asleep at like 8 o'clock, I'll wake up at like 3. There's some like fucked up time. Just be like,
which is sometimes cool because like, you know, if I go to sleep at 8 and I wake up at 3, I'll stay up till like, you know, or usually I'll wake up at 1 and I'll stay awake till 3 or 4 and then go back to sleep and then get another 4 hours and then I'm fine.
Right.
But yeah, second sleep.
I had this. I had a friend in high school, and he told me that he would just go to bed at like 8. And this was when we were in high school. He'd just go to bed at 8. And like whenever he woke up, he was just waking up. He and he would just stay awake until it was time to go to school. And I'm like, man, fuck that, because like if you wake up at fucking 1 or 12, you're fucked. And if you're just gonna stay awake till fucking 7 just to go to school, no, bro.
Yeah.
But that was a strange fellow to say the least. I remember one thing that I had issue with though. Growing up, and I mean probably a lot of other people have had this issue too, but for me it was a lot more, it was a little bit more serious. I got into horror movies in the worst way possible as like a little kid. Like I watched like really, really gory stuff, and like it really, really messed me up. I remember.
Do you remember the first one that you that fucked you up?
Okay, this is gonna sound really dumb, but honestly, they did a really good job on the gore factor. The first I think it was the first or the second remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. It was one, I forget which one it was exactly, but I do remember one of the scenes was the dude had like his arm like tied to a fucking table, and he just cut like a fucking layer off of his arm, like completely. It was ridiculous. Oh, yeah. I remember that movie ended, the last survivor was shot away in a car, and like she thought she got away, and he just fucking puts his chainsaw right through the fucking like back of the seat and just fucking takes her. And I remember that being pretty dramatic for me, and I'd fall asleep fucking terrified. And I remember I would my dad grew up listening like 80s hair rock and shit, and like so I was exposed to that all the fucking time. I didn't like it, but I remember trying to play that in my head as loud as possible when I was trying to go to sleep, so that I wouldn't think about this fucking dude who just got his arm flayed.
So you're like blasting Helix and
yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Like, please don't take me away. I don't want to die. And if I ever did get those dreams, dude, I would always wake up. It was kind of a problem at one point. I don't think I really talked about it, but I remember a couple of times where I woke up, I was like digging at my own arm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah, dude. And I remember one time it was so bad that I actually I couldn't go to school.
Really?
Because I was bleeding a lot, because I think I had like partially torn like one of the arteries going down here.
Really?
On accident. Yeah.
Jeez, man. Crazy. In your sleep you were like,
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. And I just sleep with like these for a little bit I slept with like these like gloves. Mm-hmm. And they suck because the inside was like some like wool material, and the outside was like really leathery. Mm-hmm. And like whenever you took your hands out, they like I remember the first time I wore them, I took them out like literally like a pool of sweat just fell into my bed. I'm like, that's gross. God damn it! Why can't
How am I supposed to masturbate with these things?
Dude, how can I be?
It's leather.
How can I be a normal kid?
That's pretty gnarly. Like, the first horror movie that fucked me up was Jaws. I saw Jaws when I was like 6.
Oh.
I was like 5 or 6. I can't remember which, but like the part where like they dive and they go to the boat and like the body comes out and it's like one of those like jump scares.
Yeah.
But like, now when you watch that movie, it's like fucking hilarious because it's like it just looks ridiculous, but like that fucking scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, and like I was like traumatized by it for like I remember just being like, fucking Jaws is gonna get me, dude. Like, that movie's pretty brutal too, like the part where Jaws has Quinn and he's like screaming and he's got blood in his mouth. It's like, that's brutal, dude.
Yeah, that was
it's pretty disturbing. It's tight.
And then from there they all just get way more ridiculous in the worst ways.
I've only seen the first one.
Good.
Yeah, that's the one I've ever seen.
Keep it that way, man.
Yeah.
Keep it that way. That's one where you don't watch the second one or the third one. It's not like
it's kind of a weird premise for like a serialized,
string
story, like,
dude, there's this it might be Alamo Draft House that does it, or someone they're in cahoots with, but they do this thing on Lake Travis where they like show Jaws while you're floating in the water.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
dude.
Fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
I need to go do that.
That would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, I would like conquer my. I'm not. Obviously, I'm not scared of Jaws anymore.
I'm still scared of sharks, dude.
Really?
No.
That's fucking gothic. Dude, I remember when I went out to Cabo, I was like 12 or 13. Mm-hmm. I don't quite remember how old I was, but I remember We were this is when like they had like the submarines, like it's like submarine touring open and shit. And dude, we went down and like, man, I forgot what was local over there, but I remember seeing a shark just like took this fucking fish that was like 7 feet away from like the side of the subway, of the submarine I was on. And bro, he like thrashed around its mouth and like flung it, and like it hit the window of like the person that was in front of me. And like she fainted.
That's sick, dude. Hell yeah.
She fainted, and like her husband had to like catch her and shit. And we had to go back up because since we were so down below, we didn't know what if you stay down that low and like she's all knocked down and shit, it could spell some pretty nasty shit. But I remember that. I'm like, man, that was cool. Why don't we go back down and just like take Copper off and go back down? And I was like, God, this is a little asshole kid being an asshole to everybody. I just want to see the sharks again.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty sick.
Dude, I remember the first movie that really fucked me up was Chucky. I think I saw that when I was like 6 or 7 or something like that.
What's the first one's Child's Play?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I really like Brad Dourif too. He's a great actor. So like, he's the voice of Chucky.
Oh,
and
okay.
He's the dude in the beginning where like, it's a cool
like,
premise because he's a necromancer and he like reanimates. It's
is it
hilarious because it's a fucking doll, but it's like he reanimates his soul into an object.
Yeah,
That's a phylactery, you know. So it's like that's pretty cool, dude. It's like talking about. They reference Damballa, which is like an African voodoo god.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Huh. I'll be damned.
Cool premise.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Christine. It's that movie about like the killer that runs over people.
That's John Carpenter.
57 Planet.
Yeah.
Is it John Carpenter?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a thrash metal band called FKU, and they have an album that really talks about that movie. It's like the cover is the car with the dudes in front of it.
Yeah.
There's a song in it that talks about that fucking movie, and I remember seeing that movie because I remember I saw Child's Play, and because like this is when Blockbuster was I was renting like 5, 6 movies, like that's what I would do with my allowance, and I remember picking that up. And I had a cousin who would always just bullshit me about everything, and he had convinced me that Christine was Chucky's car, and that Chucky is the more people Chucky killed, the more human-like he would become, and eventually he would drive the car and just start running over people with it himself.
That's a sick crossover.
That would be a sick crossover.
Hey, don't take my idea anymore.
You gotta get on it, dude.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Dude, I saw by chance, like Bride of Chucky Part 3 or something.
Yeah.
A terrible Chucky movie.
I mean, eventually
so bad.
Eventually they all start getting really ridiculous. Like, you remember Jason Goes to Hell?
I didn't see that one. I think I saw most of the one where he was in space. Was it Jason X?
Jason X.
Oh,
really? He like cut some dude in half or something like that, and they have this table that like rebuilds your body or something like that, and like they killed him, and of course he wound up on that fucking table, and they like the machine like rebuilt Jason.
Oh god.
That's tight.
Well, that's like what? Leprechaun in Space. Also, that's
it's like all these movies. I've only ever seen the first one.
And Leprechaun in the Hood. Did you ever see that?
I've never seen that one.
Oh,
it's missing out.
Oh, it's bad.
Jesus Christ! Just throw the Leprechaun everywhere. Fuck. If you can make money off of it, do it. I mean, you know.
I don't know.
Dude, Jennifer Aniston was in the first one.
The first Leprechaun?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
What year was that again?
I don't know.
It would have been like 95 or something like that.
She was killing it, dude. She was killing it back then. God, she was fucking hot back then. Still
God
is.
bless you, Jennifer Aniston.
But yeah, dude, that was like, for me, that was like her golden years, dude. Goddamn. Like, being like a little kid growing up, like, her
on Friends, dude.
Yeah.
Total babe.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney Cox Arquette.
Yeah, first peak Power Ranger. Forget her name.
Oh,
I don't remember her.
Yeah.
I don't remember what she looked like. I'm sure she was a babe.
Oh hell yeah, she was.
Probably.
And that was when like that was like Jason David Frank before the whole weird social media thing took him over. Where oh my god, if the original Green Power Ranger, Dude, his feet now was so ridiculous. I remember when CM Punk was during the fight in the UFC for the first time, because money and shit. And I remember he made like 12 videos in a row in like a stretch of 2 days, calling out CM Punk and trying to get the UFC to sign him to fight CM Punk. It was so weird. I mean,
Bizarre.
well, I mean, he had.
I thought his like MMA career flopped, right? CM Punk.
Yeah, it went to garbage. Yeah, because
he his ass whooped a lot.
He lost to, quite frankly, they put him up against people that he had no business being in there with. He was a good friend of Dan White's, and he was like, yeah, man, I just want to try it. And it's like, well, here's the thing, dude. You want to try it. The thing is, there are people that train in it every day that want this more than you want to breathe. So when you go and you fight people like that, you're gonna get your ass whooped. It's because that there's a saying that there's levels to this. Well, there's levels to commitment too. Like a band, for example, that puts everything they have into it, like you guys, that's gonna sound a lot better than people that just do it for fun and just want to bullshit around.
We don't like having fun, dude.
Huh?
We don't like having fun. We hate it.
We hate fun.
Like the fun song from SpongeBob. that is not us, not today. So guys, you said the tour's going to take you Midwest and kind of in the southern area. What days and what cities are you at?
Well, I mean, it starts March 22nd, and it's like Austin, San Antonio, Houston, New Orleans, Tampa, Gainesville, then the fest in Atlanta. And then I think it's
Nashville.
No, we do
I'm just gonna pull it up.
Raleigh or Charlotte. I think it's Charlotte, and Charlotte, Nashville, or maybe it's Lexington, Nashville, something like that.
Here, I got you. So it's Tampa, Gainesville, Atlanta, Charlotte, then Nashville, Lexington.
That's right.
Detroit. We heard you like to party, Detroit. Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Kansas City, and then Oklahoma City.
Oh shit.
And we're doing the kickoff next weekend?
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday, a week from today.
Yeah.
At the Shine.
So, do you have a booking agent who does this all for you, or you just know a shit ton of people through the grapevine?
Yeah, I mean, just over the years, I've met people, and that's why you play shows with touring bands. So you make friends. If they're cool, if they suck, then you don't. And I don't know. You just try to network, and I used to live at like a DIY warehouse and stuff, so that's kind of how I made a lot of initial contacts with people over the country. And the first Steel Bearing Hand tour was in 2012, and we went over to the West Coast, and then the next year we did like a full US tour, and then that was kind of like what helped me meet a lot of people that I know. And just over the years you meet people, and I try to book shows for friends when they come through. And
were you the one who booked that show, the Sunshine Bar show?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was also the first time I saw Knife Cold live, too, and goddamn, they were really, really good.
Yeah, totally.
I've always been a fan of Psychiatric Regurgitation, too. The split they put out with Wormcasm last year was really good.
Yeah.
Especially their half.
Yeah.
There's a riff in their first song on that split. It's like 3 minutes, like 40 seconds in. I used it for the intro when I did their album review for their side split.
Killer.
God, it was ridiculous. Dylan's just nuts. Dude's been writing crazy shit forever.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. He's a great guitar player, and
Rose
cool dude.
Evening too. Back when that was like.
He was actually. Have you ever heard of Morbid Anal Fog?
What?
You should check that out, dude. I don't wanna give anything else away.
Morbid Anal Fog.
Morbid Anal Fog, Nocturnal Bacon Throne.
What?
Just look it up.
The best thing I've heard.
Oh yeah, no, Dylan's legit. He's been around for a long time.
Absolutely. I don't know. Like as I said, it's just crazy how I've always missed y'all. But then at the same time, I always tell people, I always kind of divide our scene, whatever, into like 4 major groups. You have you have the metal, you have the punk, and you have the hardcore. The big three that do their thing. And then I call the fourth one the underbelly. And the underbelly is like most of like the grindcore acts or the acts that don't play the usual the usual traditional Saturday at like Wits and or Reno's back when Reno's was kicking or like Tomcats. We'll play places like Sunshine Bar or Trade Winds. I always call them the underbelly because those are the shows that a lot of people in the local scene won't go to first, but they're honestly mostly the shows that just generate the most energy, especially Trade Winds. With Imperial, I believe Emma's been doing a lot of booking there. Imperial Slaughter's been playing there a lot. Combat's been with them too there, a good numerous of times. And being here in GP and like it being on Davis, I just literally go down the street and just drive it all the way over there.
That's cool.
Fucking great place. It's kind of like Sunshine in a lot of ways.
Yeah, totally. Dive bar.
Yeah, which that's as personal as it gets.
Oh yeah.
Because you play here and the person watching is we're right there.
Yeah, no stage.
No, but the intensity and the sound is just as much, if not better, than any of the other major 3 sects of the scene. And I always never went to those shows because when I first came into the scene, I was really socially awkward, which was weird because I never was before. And I'm because I think my mindset of it was when I entered this, I'm I don't want to be like that guy who gets into a bunch of shit, and then everyone's like, "What the fuck's this guy?" and be like that dude in the scene. So I just kind of sat back and just watched people, said good set, played it casual, and then I would start going out to more shows, and then that's when people start opening up to me. Yeah. Okay, cool, I'm in, sweet, and I just want to branch out more. I really, really bummed out that I missed that show that y'all did at Double Wide recently.
Oh, yeah.
That was tight.
That was a good one.
Oh yeah, with Combat, man. Combat is has been one of my favorite bands in the scene for ever since I saw them for the first time. Those dudes know how to fucking get down.
Yeah, man, they're very high energy.
They opened up for fucking I Hate God and fucking Denton and Andy's bar. It's crazy.
That place is tiny too, so it must have been cram packed.
Absolutely crammed. I mean, what the legal occupancy for that building's probably in the 50s or 60s or 70s.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
But fuck, they definitely packed more than that night. Fuck fire hazards.
Yeah.
Fire hazards. I guess really the main thing I want to ask besides your tour is we have 2019 still as a big year still. Just we still so much of it left. Do you have any more plans with this year besides this tour? You maybe want to go record, maybe do some more touring. What's in the books for y'all?
Both. We're still working on our second album. We're getting pretty close to being ready. Hopefully we'll be able to record this spring at some point. And then we're planning on doing a West Coast tour in August. So, yeah, I mean...
Trying to get some splits out?
Yeah, trying to get some splits. We're trying to stay as busy as possible this year, and next year is, when Anthony joined the band, he lived in San Marcos, so...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It was really tough for us to get together and get stuff done, but he lives up here now, so now we can...
Makes everything a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Your drumming's absolutely insane, by the way. Probably some of the craziest high-level drumming I've seen in a very long time. I remember coming into the scene initially, they told me when it comes to drumming to watch out for you guys and Kalia, and this is when Christopher Luna was showing in Silver Tongue Double. Okay. They said, check them out too. And again, finally happy that I was finally able to see you guys. Definitely make it happen more often. Thanks for coming on the podcast, guys. I really appreciate it. As I said,
thanks for having us.
You have some of the you're probably as I said, my opinion, no one holds a candle to you guys when it comes to fucking just insane riff writing, aggression, and tenacity. You guys are on another level for it. I can't wait. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
I throw house parties and shit, man. I bet you guys would fuck this house up. So.
Well, hopefully not too bad. You still gotta live here, right?
Nah, come on, dude. Last time when someone almost got my last house party, someone almost fought me in my own front yard. It's my own house.
That's fun.
That's a good party, dude.
Yeah, dude. It was a great party. That dude had way too much to drink.
Yeah.
But oh well. But best of luck on your tours, guys.
Thank you.
I hope you have. I hope you get enough money to buy a bunch of baby wipes because I know how that shit is.
Yeah.
If you are in one of the locations that these guys are going to be touring at, make sure you hit them up. They are fucking spectacular and as good as it can get. This has been DFW Metal Mayhem, the most brutal podcast in the Metroplex.